Now, look, you and I said, this formal setting of flowers and chairs and whatever, and the conversations that were real conversations are really over a table, having a few beers, and just really getting real.
Sure.
And there's some real stories in here of it isn't all just sunshines and rainbows. There are things like micro weddings and stuff like that. There was this trend you were telling me about.
There've been a number of weddings that have been very small and intimate. And so a micro wedding, I think, is something that's got certainly less than 40 guests. So it's not the big gay wedding, but everyone knows that the wedding is completely legal and above board, and they're there to support the couple. So some couples have got married simply because they want to do the legal bit in a short and simple ceremony.
Why would they want to just have the legal bit?
Because they might have had the big commitment ceremony 10, 15 years ago, spent a lot of money on that, and just need to do the legals. For some people, it's they might be, one of the people or both of them might be at an age where they just want to make sure that each other is taken care of legally, and marriage, the act of marriage, changes your legal status. Yep. Others want to do it because one of them is perhaps terminally ill, and they just want to make sure that they are next of kin, that when they go for the next round of chemotherapy or radiotherapy, that they're the one who's spoken to with respect. And I've had numerous couples with stories where that's just not been the case because they haven't been married. And as recently as last year.
And I'm going to dig on this further. I'm going to pull that thread a little bit more. The fears.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the fears that are still happening despite equality, despite anti-discrimination, despite all this stuff of where we are now here in Australia, that there's still the self-fear, the society fear,
certainly,
and these micro weddings just to have that.
Probably around 25% of the same-sex couples I've married have wanted only themselves, me as a celebrant, and 2 witnesses, with no photos. Sometimes they ask for the wedding to be at my home office or in the boardroom of a business hub that I have access to. Certainly nowhere in public. They sometimes ask if I can provide the 2 witnesses because they are so deeply closeted that they want no one to know that they're getting married. And we've got to understand that some people, couples like that, are possibly not out to anyone but each other. Yeah. Or they might be out in parts of their lives and not in other parts. So, for example, they could be out to family, but not out at work or at sport. They might be out at sport and family, but not out in church or at work. And there are genuine fears amongst those people, even though we know that there's anti-discrimination legislation and so on, to protect them. It's like water off a duck's back to them. And so they specifically ask no photos. Of course, for a celebrant, that means no opportunities for social media.
Yes.
That means no opportunities for a testimonial. But at the end of the day, it's their choice and it's their life and it's their wedding. It's not mine.
Oh,
and so completely respect all of that.